only the old auntie, so yeah, I just reach out.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, we'll get started. We'll start with a Karakia from Bess.
Mā te whakapono, mā te tūmanako, mā te titiro, mā te whakarongo, mā te mahitahi, mā te manawa nui, mā te aroha, ka taia e tātou. With faith and belief, by listening, by being aware, by working together with love and patience and understanding and a love for our community, we got this. Tihei mauri ora. Kia ora.
Yes. Thank you, Bess. That was lovely. So we have no apologies, so we will move into public forum. Everyone has 5 minutes to speak on their item. We have Paddy Stewart first. He has 2 items. And this meeting is recorded. We'll start with the Mercury Bay Boating Club.
Good morning.
Just got an update here with the club, and there's a few general things there. I'm mainly going to talk about the car park. I've done this. Just wanted to give the council some information about that. But in general terms, we're looking at recruiting another coach again from overseas for our youth sailing program this summer. It's sort of in progress now. We had the team at Oceans Festival weekend, so we were doing the recycling, all the recycling stations. That's a big thing for the future now. We got a good fundraiser for us. We're still waiting for the DOC decision on Thunder Street. So again, it's public land and these processes, the goalposts sort of move around, but that's in progress. And we're also talking with Waka Armour about how to sort of share that space. And we're also mindful that it's a dock reserve, but there's also limited, so we're mindful of that. And we're talking with Mike tomorrow night. We've got our monthly meeting tomorrow night. Just regarding the Thunder Street parking, there's been some concerns about that. There's a summary here on this little handout that I've got. I can email the council information, but we've been collecting daily information from them. And that was since middle of December last year. And we're wanting to show the community that, yes, there is some issues around parking, but the numbers of days that car park reaches capacity are very low across the year. So that's really all we're about here is just collecting this data, and we've got to go through the process. But we're just going to collect the data and let it speak for itself. Yeah, so really for us at the moment, it's a matter of waiting for the department to finish its deliberations and come to some sort of decision. That's any questions on that?
Okay.
Thanks. Do they give you any indication?
Oh, is that
Around a time frame?
It keeps changing. It just keeps changing. So it's fine. Like, you can see public land and maybe they're finding their way on the issue as well. So yeah, that's a challenge for the committee to progress things, because probably what that means is that if it went our way, you're not going to get anything going before the new year. So again, it's a matter of patience.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
John?
The other challenges that you've had, things like insurance and so on, have you made some progress? Is any?
It's all in progress. Yeah. So all these issues, John, we just seem to sort of bat the ball down and then wait for a response to come back.
lots of balls in the
Yeah, that's right. And so we're focusing on, like the oceans was good for us because as a club, we've got to focus on something positive. And that's all we can do is we have these uncertainties in the air, and we just keep on with the junior sailing, just keep looking. There's a
Okay. Any other questions?
sweet.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, number two.
Wait, there's more.
Number two. So the next piece of paper, sorry about my photocopy this morning. It's meant to do better than that. So I'm speaking to this issue as the secretary for the Code Environment Action Group. And that's a group that's been going out there since about 2007. And basically it does small scale ecological protection stuff. And on the blackjack, there's a mistletoe that grows there. So it's a dwarf mistletoe. Sorry, my picture is a very small image one. But in the manuka, it grows, it looks a little bit like a little skinny bird's nest. And so this mistletoe can't directly compare plants to animals and birds, but it is the same threat classification as a kakapo. It's critically endangered. And there are some ecological reasons for that. And so this is the main population that I'm aware of on the Correspondence Peninsula. And so basically it relies on the manuka host, like the shrub, and the shrub is also threatened by pathogen called needle rust. So I've been taking some. So my role, sorry, here is that I'm simply the secretary, and I support the field work, and I bring some undergrad students down each year, and we're monitoring the mistletoe. And so we're looking to understand it. But I come in to speak about it because plants, it's a bit like veggies at the dinner table with the whole meal. Plants sort of disappear off the landscape. They're not as obvious as kiwis and kakapo and all that sort of stuff, But this population is rare, and basically, I've been doing some research. We produced a research plan for it. Is that what needs to happen is that this plant needs propagating and spreading further afield at the site. When it is small, it is vulnerable, for example, to fire, also genetically long-term, that makes it vulnerable. And so what we're wanting to do is we're wanting to collect seed to help propagate it, and that's a sensitive process because it's vulnerable to disease. We're looking to do that. And so one of the places it's growing is on the roadside. So if you look at the image two with the car and that sort of stuff, there's actually a photo there of a Purangi. It's not a manuka. There's not mistletoe in that tree. But what happens there, and we're coming at this from a constructive point of view, is that when the contractors go through, they mow that with a mower of a tractor, and that's just road maintenance. And so what's happening is that the host, so it's the host, which is the habitat for the mistletoe. So on the margins, that critically endangered mistletoe is getting mulched by the mower. Okay. And so we're not going to change that situation. So that's why we want to increase the population. We want to collect seed. And so that's going to involve, so we haven't come to the council for money over this issue, but that we need permission to collect that seed of those plants. Okay, so we've kept Ngāti Hei, Kamatura, and the Ratepayers Association up to date with it. So this is not going to be a fast process. This is going to be a slow process. This is a difficult plant, if you would, to propagate because it has some specific requirements. It's not like something you can just pick up or get going, because the seed is popped out of the capsule of the plant and it has to stick to something. And it has to grow, and it grows on a specific species host. There's a whole bunch of challenges with this. It's a long-term project, but yeah, so that's in a nutshell really, is that our trust is asking for permission. There'll be a process that we have to go through with the council, but that to collect the seed and propagate. And it actually needs to be done out there on site. So we avoid issues with bringing disease. So we're not looking to run, it's like you use a commercial sort of setup, which will be more efficient because there are issues with disease being spread from the nurseries. So it needs to be done in situ. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. So we sort of understand the plant, it's there doing its thing. There are some issues with it, and the roadside maintenance is one of those issues. And it's just like, honestly, kiwis or oyster catchers around town coming off bad against cars and that sort of stuff. We can't change that. And but that we can do something to improve the status of the population.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
No? Patty, are you aware of the, I think mistletoe out of, is it Egan's Reserve?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. We contract monitor actually for the council going on 20 years now, looking at condition conservation covenants and that sort of stuff. And so back in 2010, we sort of got something going with the council in terms of identifying these sort of species. And it just gets lost. It's part of the reason, like, you know, it's coming in and funding up for the plants is that that ended up being, those trees actually ended up being maintained. And actually some of those plants got the top when the maintenance happened there. It's not I'm being constructive again, but that they're just invisible. You know, they really are just invisible. And so it just needs someone to come in and you know, and speak for them and get something going really. And they don't have a high profile, but they're part of the Ngāti. You know, like these, you know, in Europe, mistletoe is also used for medicinal reasons, but commercially. There's a whole lot that's unknown. I've talked to a rongo specialist, Rokota, for example. There's very little known about this mistletoe. It was shown to me by a botanist, Johnson at Dodsworth, you know, last century, that sort of stuff. Yeah, thanks. Yep.
So just for clarity, in my understanding, when you're talking about, you know, collecting seeds from a roadside, are we talking about one or two people, you know, in some traffic management, or are we talking about a bigger sort of scale?
No, I won't have my whole team of students
Yeah.
there. So that would be something. So in terms of collecting it, we might need a little tactic actually where we have something on the other side of the shrub from the road, where it actually, because the seed, we have to collect it passively. We can't just go and grab it like you would. So it might mean we have to have something else on the other side of that shrub for the seed to be collected with.
Oh, so it sticks onto there?
Yeah, it's on the new host.
Right.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's obvious you got the no on this. So briefly, can you let us know what would you like to see and how would you handle it?
Oh,
From, you know, from getting the seed or what, even putting it here and there, what?
yeah, all it is that it's like something that is new. So this, just to explain, I work with the myrtle rust team for DOC on this, and they collecting seed to protect all these myrtle species, you know, and it's hard. So we need to just do something that has low cost. What I want to see is something that's low cost, low tech, and it's a bit like a little trial in your garden to see if two varieties or something work better or whatever. It's that's all we want to do is do something small and simple that doesn't cause more harm. And because it's a threatened species, we just need to get any intervention that we do causes harm.
Tell us a little bit more about this this plant. It's how endangered is it? Have there been some national
So
statutes for it?
yeah. So there is
in our area.
it is spread. It is spread nationwide. Generally, it prefers either manuka or kanuka. It is host specific. It actually won't in the same site. It connects, as a European, so best I can say, it connects with certain genetics.
Yeah.
We can't go in there. We can't go and take some other trees in there and hope it's going to stick on to like the farm or this one. And so this particular, so it's mentioned genetic stuff, and so these mistletoe and some in Auckland and some down by Tolko, they are closely related, and they the other populations around the country, they're all separate. They're genetically separated. So because of the way that the seed is spread, it doesn't go very far.
Yeah.
So it could be that when a silver eye goes through the tree looking for insects, the seed sticks onto its grain and then it gets moved to another tree.
Right.
Or it could be a fisherman, or it could be the tractor when it goes past with the mower. It's some, and it brushes and it spreads the seed along. So it grows, it's an edge species, it's growing on the edge. But
So one of the things that you've mentioned here is the concern about fire. So obviously, if you move it from one plant to another, that's not solving that problem, is it?
no. So we need to just move it further afield. Yeah, into the right habitat. So the thing around the manuka, you see, it's a succession species.
Yeah.
So you can't, you could go and put it somewhere where in 100 years' time, it's going to be, emergent sort of canopy sort of forest species, because it wouldn't last there. So it used to be a cathedral cove. My knowledge of it, when we did the Myrtle Rust work, we couldn't find it. In Tutiawa. So to answer your question, it's a species which is it needs a certain sort of habitat. It's host specific.
Yeah.
And it's a tricky customer.
And the purpose of you coming today to tell us about it, which
Yep.
has been very helpful from an information point of view, is that this will be followed with a formal request to the council.
Absolutely. Yeah, we go through all the paperwork, yeah.
Oh, thanks for your money.
Yeah.
I just, Chair, I just ask one, this is due to my ignorance, Patty, but what, what's the legal requirement that you have to get council consent to do what you want to do?
We don't know. We're going to be doing something on the road reserve.
It's a road reserve.
So I don't know.
There could be some health and safety.
I don't know. If we don't have to, that's fine. But there's always, usually there's red tape, or, there's rules around all these matters. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But I just wanted to finish off with that. So there will be more engagement with mana whenua. So it is a taonga species. And that all takes time, but.
Are you wanting sort of maybe for trees where you found it host to be cordoned off, perhaps?
No, it'll be all low key. Thank you. So as low key as possible.
Otherwise it'll draw attention.
Whatever. And like in your mind's eye, the blackjack hill, that sort of stuff, it's on the side of the road there. So there's not, there are some safety concerns here, but I'm sure you're going to.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's okay if I get off.
Yes,
Kia ora.
yeah.
Permission to leave
Yeah.
granted.
Appreciate the information.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll have Tracy Bell next with this.
It is.
You
Stupid plant. Stupid doggies. Sticks himself up to fame.
Morning, everyone.
Megan, I'm not Tracy,
Megan.
but Tracy asked me to come and just provide you with a bit of an update on the work that I'm doing as part of Wāhi Tukurua. And the two things that I'll talk to, I believe Mum is into something else, is to do with our what we call our suck free campaign. And suck stands for single use cup free campaign. You may have seen through our social media and in various places around the mahi that's going on in the space. And I have just come from an event yesterday evening, which was hosted by the local Anchor franchise, where a lot of the cafes came in. So it was a huge opportunity to be in front of them, but also basically what it reinforced for me was that we've already got 16 cafes on board in Mercury Bay South, here in Whitianga space, and in Mercury Bay North in total. And what that means is that each of these 16 cafes are doing something in the space of either providing an incentive or a disincentive around single-use throwaway cups. And so that can look like charging more, charging less, charging more obviously if someone's getting in and taking away a throwaway cup, but also providing a mug library if that's suitable for what they've got there set up for. And going into a scheme which means that like with what we have been sort of partnered with is Chunky. So you may have seen in the cafes that you go into, This looks like
looks like that.
it looks like that one. So I
It's
just
steel,
I'm gonna
okay,
bring
yeah.
one I've said earlier, but it's a stainless steel mud.
Oh, yeah.
Your lovely assistant.
Here's one of them, Julia.
I keep mine in my handbag.
Oh.
That's great. And 13 of the cafes have come on board with this particular loan scheme.
Fantastic.
It is really great, and it is spread across the 3 parts of the Mercury Bay area at this point in time. And the great thing is that all of the cafes are really engaged, super proud of being part of it, have been sort of waiting for something like this to happen. The great thing about Chunky specifically is that it's a loan scheme and it's a loan exchange scheme. So we are particularly interested in the fact that, you know, our area is a super huge growth area and there's a lot of building going on. A lot of tradies and contractors and subbins and that kind of thing who, as we know, we all love to get our morning coffee. You know, they often sort of say, I've got a couple of 3 heat cups, but they're a bit dirty looking and they're rolling around the floor of the ute.
Mhm.
The thing with Chunky is it doesn't matter. You take it in and you're literally swapping it. You're getting a fresh new Chunky cup with that silicone lid and your coffee of choice in it. And that one goes back into their system to be washed. And so it's a nationwide scheme. It's not just Mercury Bay. It started in Wanaka, Queenstown area. And it's in Taupo, and it's throughout the country. And now it seems to be a really popular system of choice that's taking off here in Mercury Bay. So what we do in support of cafes that are coming on board is basically to profile that sort of thing through our social media and do lots of, you know, colourful posts, linking them in and sort of celebrating that. And we also do what we're calling Thirsty Thursdays. So it's one Thursday a month, and we're up to the 4th one. We partner with one of the cafes that is part of this collective reuse revolution, and we basically are there for a 3-hour period. We're raising awareness around the problems to do with throwaway cups, and so there's 250,000 of them. If you line them up, they go from here to Tyro. If you want to get a visual of what that looks like, they go. That's it annually, and they go into the landfill. They can't be composted. You know, no matter what kind of greenwashing or whatever comes with these things, they can't. They end up in the landfill, and they have a plastic lining on them. So therefore, they are adding to the waste issue. So we celebrate that cafe, and basically being there, we were with CFM, and it's great to have them on board. And we had the cafe owner on the radio. We are on the radio at that time, and so there's and all the wraparound things that go with that. We're also doing summer magazine ads, so that you know that whole idea of having in that space of having something that sits on the coffee table in the summer, a lot of visitors coming to town, that kind of thing, where they're looking through it and seeing the cafes that are participating in this kind of thing. So yeah, we're doing all that we can in that space, and now my role is to look where to next, how to do it better, how to get more involved, how to go reach out to businesses, all those sorts of things. But we're really super excited about the uptake at this point in time. So yeah, 16 cafes so far, 30 doing the Chunky, but 16 are doing more than one thing, and 2 cafes are doing one of everything. Just incentivizing, got a mug library and Chunky.
Thank you. Ellie? Just to clarify for the 3 people who watch this online. Yeah, sorry, no, I was just being cynical, but hopefully people do watch this. If you get a Chunky cup from the cafe, it's rolling around in your ute, and you go to a different cafe that has the Chunky cup, can you give it to them?
Yeah, it's a whole point.
Great.
Sorry, I didn't clarify that.
Yeah.
Any
No, I knew
participating
that, I
cafe,
just wanted to
there you
ask
go.
you that question.
You can go in. You pay your initial $10. It's like a bond, you could say, because if you ever want to exit the scheme, you get your $10 back. You simply relinquish the one you're currently holding, and you get your $10 back. We've got a close relationship with Chunky. They see that virtually never happens. People just, the program's probably been going several years now. So, yeah, that's exactly right. You go to any cafe that is participating in it, and you're doing that swap. Thank you.
Beautiful.
So that cup she held up, is that a Chunky? I want to see how chunky it is.
So it's a good question, actually. It's very light. It's got a nice, it's not like Chunky drinking. It's just called, that's the brand name. And it's It's got a very soft, easy, well fitted, it doesn't leak.
Okay.
But it's not, I don't know if thermally aligned is correct, it's double walled. So this stays cold
Yep.
and that stays cold.
Kia ora.
Yeah.
How does it go?
There we
Yeah,
go.
I'm
She wants to see your.
Fair enough too.
Does participating cafes in this scheme, I know we've definitely got one of those at home, sort of say.
Yeah, sorry,
That's
it's a
you
stand.
here, is there a
Yeah, so
Is there a
on
stand?
there's a portable stand which fits one of these cups in it, which is usually situated right at the point of sale space.
right?
There's a sticker that comes with it, it's on the door as you go in. In an ideal world, there'd be something on the footpath or whatever, but at this point in time, it's has to identify the cafe.
This morning when I got my coffee.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Sitting on the counter.
There you go. So that's exactly how it goes. There you go.
Thank you for your knowledge.
Yeah, here's the question.
Oh,
yeah.
Karen?
Oh, another question, Leanne.
Megan.
I think it's great.
Megan, so this is, I'm of the older ilk. So it's a bit like taking an empty glass milk bottle.
Yeah.
To the,
It is actually,
just so you can enlighten those, the older demographic.
that's a really good point. Yeah, and
Drop a bottle and get a bottle as well.
actually, I know, there might be an underground trade for these things, but you can cash them in, but anyway. The bottles, they'd be like,
But just,
no, I know, right?
I was just mentioning that, so if
Yeah.
you were wanting to go and see great power people,
Yes.
they might, because you're trying to kind of get back to how things used to be.
That's right.
A lot of young people think us recyclers from the 60s don't know anything. We could be teaching them something.
Oh, for sure, leading the way,
And
exactly.
so, yeah, I think touch into the.
Yeah. Brilliant idea.
Actually, great house, good idea.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they can train their grandchildren, not necessarily to drink
They
coffee.
both together go, we're both doing this.
Yeah, this is good.
I remember more swap crate.
Yeah, In the back of the-
Prices.
in the back of the local pub.
Okay, soon.
We also provide the cafes with what we call table talkers, which are basically a little triangular shaped thing that sits in the center of the cafe. And it is, in fact, what we're wanting people to do is not to get a throwaway cup. We want them to sit down and enjoy the coffee. In an ideal world, you would just sit and enjoy and connect and that'd be it. You spend 10 minutes, there's no need to rush. So that's the top thing we're trying to encourage people to do. You know, that whole thing about sitting down and just having the cafe there, the coffee there. But also there's information on the table talkers. And what I've heard from all of the cafes that I've spoken to about it, they said they have been really impressed by the uptake simply by people talking, looking at this and with the person they're having coffee with and seeing the changes happen about that. So that's been really positive feedback to hear.
Are you aware of the BP service stations? They have the big mugs and that you take it in and they give it a rinse for you, heats up the inside and then, yeah,
Yeah.
it's been around for a few years or
Yes.
so that's,
Yeah, that's great that they're doing.
and they have it quite publicised right there.
Yeah, for sure. When I say the next things, what to do next, one of them is, you know, exactly that kind of thing. That's not BP because they've got their own thing, but looking at, you know, the big change and
Yeah.
and the countdowns and how we can work with them.
And using their ideas is what I was.
Yes, for sure. Well, and the exciting thing is that we've been nominated for, through the Correspondence Business Awards, so 2 business awards for it. Kat, can you tell us what they are?
So we're finalists in the community contribution category and also the waste minimisation category.
And that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, well
yeah,
done.
recognised for that.
Yes, it's great to be finalists in those categories. So that was the one thing I wanted to update you on. And the other one is our beach cleanup, which is this weekend on Saturday morning. And so Tracy is the person who was behind that specifically, but she has sort of said that last year 880 kilos was collected, I believe.
That's
And we're targeting 1,200. It's not wanting to hire amount, but if it's out there, let's get it kind of thing. So, you know, the target's 1,250 kgs this year. And we're, council are helping in terms of, you know, taking the waste away, what's collected, so we're very grateful for that. We've got a lot of coffee sacks to use. We are really mindful of the fact we're not creating any additional waste and collecting waste. So
It was Kopilala,
yeah, Kopilala.
out the Kopilala.
For sure, Kopilala has been very, very helpful in this. Yeah, you know, they've got something that they have a lot of, and it's a perfect idea for us to be able to collect things with. So yeah, and so that's what we're going to be doing on Saturday morning.
And will you have flags or anything?
That's
in
right.
the
We do.
areas?
Yes, yeah. It's going to be down in Buffalo Beach, and we'll have a set up area of our marquee and our flag. Yep, that's correct. But there's a lot of information, poster information, liaison with the school around this sort of thing. You know, so there's that connection is happening for getting the people to the beach to participate, and then they'll choose where they're going to go based on the you know, choose an area of the map, go away, and then when they get bored, come back, or when it finishes, come back, and then we do sort of like we're not going to be doing, as far as I understand, we're not going to be doing a waste audit so much, but we're going to do what we can. So we have here in terms of assessing it and separating it and looking at what's being found.
And one last question, is that Buffalo Beach Reserve?
I believe so.
It's the Buffalo
Yeah.
Beach Reserve.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
it's not just the beach, it's actually
Yeah.
all of
All
the
of it, yeah.
So road.
That's what we're looking at the map.
Yeah.
People are choosing where, you know, you might feel it's
Yeah.
connected to a certain place, so you
Yeah.
go there and do it. Yeah.
But that's where you're
That's where
actually,
we meet and bring and meet at again at the end.
Is supplying the bags?
Yeah, that's what, so when I say I was giving a shout out to Kopilala, they've got those big coffee sacks,
Yes.
so we're using those.
And tipping, after you fill it, tipping it into a bigger container or just?
I'm not quite sure, what do you think will happen after that, if they bring that, just put the coffee sacks in as they are? It'll be separated and sorted,
Yeah, separate sorted and
rebag it.
stuff that goes to recycling will take it to the county station.
So we'll be using those bags to probably facilitate that kind of where it's need to go. And
Well, thank you.
so you'll be doing the separation and so
on site, yeah, we've got,
Got a whole lot of bins.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a truck.
yeah,
Performance, Redmond.
Great.
we're all set up for that. And yeah, Tracy's just, the reason she's not here is she's down in Wellington talking to the refill people. It's around refill bottle. You know, continuing along the same line of perfect. Yeah. So that's why I'm here instead.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Kia ora.
So next we have Manus on the Resource Recovery Centre.
Thank you. Yes, thanks to everybody that came to the single centre for that tour. It was a good opportunity to see what's planned for Whitianga and just have a nice chat around the circular economy that we're trying to create here. So yeah, so just an update on where we are. Obviously, our project is linked to the transfer station development in Moa Road. And as far as our interaction with the council, they update us on where it is and we can do our own planning. At the moment, they've finished the detailed design. The detailed design's being peer reviewed. And once that's finished, they're looking to go out to tender. And based on the timing so far, it's probably unlikely that they'll start this year and possibly early next year. Start. I tried to have a look at on the minutes to see on the capital projects if it's listed there, but it doesn't seem to be listed, which sort of indicates to me that the funding from Ministry of Environment hasn't quite been approved yet, possibly. So it's possibly another thing to be aware of. The idea is that the council would complete our portion of the site reasonably early. That would give us access to put whatever buildings and stuff we want to that. And based on the original timings, that will probably be around about April, May next year. Based on those, transfer station probably open mid to late, or maybe the third quarter of next year. That's probably the timings that we can see so far. As far as what our funding goes, as we updated you last time, our funding originally only had enough for a building and construction waste facility, and we're looking for more funding to put a general products drop-off facility and a retail facility. And we've gone to the Ministry for the Environment. They indicated that there's possibly some funding we could get there. They did indicate that it seemed to be quite a straightforward process, but with government and at the moment, all funding seems to be being reviewed in some form. So they can't give us an answer right now. So the timing on that seems to be in the next month or so. So we'll know. Our contingency plan around that is if we don't get funding, which we're only looking for around about $200,000 for these buildings, would be to possibly go and get a loan to do that and approach various organisations for a loan. So if you know anybody that could assist, appreciate it, but we're not there yet. That's really all we can update you at this point. You'll possibly get another briefing on the transfer station progress, and maybe more in detail than we've got. But yeah, that's where that sits. The other thing that we're going to be looking in the interim to progress is, and this is in conjunction with the Seagull Centre and with the Whanganui Resource Recovery Centre, is to gauge what progress there has been on the waste minimisation and management plan. It was adopted a year ago, so we're now a year into it, and we all did a lot of work trying to influence that and get certain things into the management plan. One of those things was the migration of the transfer stations, the operation of the transfer stations, to a community-based organisation. And we've made some progress in that regard, and we'll just continue to work in that space. The idea was that waste management would migrate that to an organisation run by a community organisation. That's in the waste minimisation plan. And we have made reasonable progress in that area. The other area that we are going to push really hard in the next year or so is the implementation of a waste bylaw. That was in the waste WMP, and the timing of that is to have it implemented by 2026, which means work needs to start pretty soon on that, and we're going to be looking to influence that. And what we want there is that not so much council, but the community regains control of the waste streams that they've got. At the moment, pretty much all the waste is the control of all the waste councils in the TCDC area is in the hands of your waste contractors. Basically, they determine where how it gets disposed of, and it doesn't leave a lot of room to implement any innovative technologies, any resource recovery, etc. That's really what we're going to refocus on. So we'll try and update you as soon as possible.
Kelly? So Manus, given the timelines on the RTS and the frustrations that guys have experienced, have you got any further thoughts on a temporary facility somewhere, be it a container on a section or whatever, something that we've discussed before?
We did look at that, and we looked at a number of facilities. Just the default cost for us, we'd have to come up with funding, and it would be sunk costs, a lot of it that we wouldn't be able to recover. So we were able to do this once. If we had lots of money, yes, we would, but we don't.
I've just got a supplementary question. So I know that you've been doing some amazing pickup at satellite locations on behalf of Seagulls Centre. Are you, given again this frustration with the timelines, are you going to be doing more of those sort of drop-off type sessions where people can, especially with the e-waste and?
I think Whitianga has been doing like at these Saturday markets. We've been doing small e-waste and battery collections, and we'll probably continue to do some of those. It's nearly 3 years now since we did a large e-waste drive, and we would hope to obviously be operating. And I'm conscious that it's 3 years since we did that, and possibly that was a massive success. It blew us away how much e-waste came in at that time. We might be looking at that depending on the timing of things and how we can get access to the site at Noah Road. That we could do that as well. But at this stage, you know, depending on the construction, who controls the site and how we can get access, we'd have to be working with the contractors and council to get access. Logistically, it's probably the best spot to do it is the Noah Road site. So we're looking at, I mean, we had 200 odd cars on the first day. It's a lot of cars coming in, dropping off e-waste. 120 on the second day. So it's a big exercise.
Any other questions? Yes, I did have, and now it's gone to another question. So you are going to be doing the market here?
Traditionally, we've always done that.
Yeah, each week that they're on.
Yes, we find, depends what we've got on. Got the beach clean up at this time, but possibly towards the summer we'll be planning something.
Yeah, I think there was one week when I was here, the residents' ratepayers stall that you guys were there. So I took this lady's battery and I got it to you.
We did be doing them once in March. These ones at the 5th of October.
Yeah.
So I've got them, they'll be on our social media and on our website, but yeah, we're trying to do once a month so over the summer.
Right.
Yeah.
And with your wealth of experience, Manus, have you had any opportunity to contribute thoughts or ideas to the plans for the
transfer station?
Yeah. I mean, have they asked you to contribute?
Yes, and not in a lot of detail, but we've had to work very closely with them, designing our facility to be integrated into the transfer station. So yes, we've had a reasonable input into that, not specifically the transfer station design. There's been about 4 or 5 iterations of the transfer station design over the last 3 or 4 years. So it's moved, and possibly 3 years ago we had a lot of input, but it's the last year or so we've just really been focusing on our needs. So much is.
I'm just wondering whether they value, not necessarily value, but can, take information from you, because it's already been run for design. It's obviously cost the council and ratepayers money. So hopefully this time it will be the right design.
Well, as I said, it's been peer reviewed, so it's having another set of eyes look at
peer reviewed from people where.
So the consultants do the design and they give it to another set of consultants.
People with expertise.
Yes.
Yeah, well, what happened last time?
Well, it didn't. So yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Dali?
So you've got the Tyler drop-off centre opening soon.
No, it's already been going nearly a year.
Oh.
We opened it in December last year.
Oh, it said something on your website about opening soon, I thought.
Yes, sorry.
Opening soon. Welcome to the drop-off centre. Sorry about that, Mum. Just didn't want to put you on the spot. Is there a possibility for Whitianga to have one?
We've worked hard in that space. but we've got to have somewhere for the product to go to. And we've opened drop-off centres in Taira and Pauanui, and that pretty much put the Seagull Centre under a lot of stress. So opening another facility was just a little bit too far for us. At the same time, we helped establish a drop-off centre in Karakia with them as well, and brought all the product back to the Seagull Centre. But now they've opened a shop in Karakia, so we got them off the ground. But over the last few months, Seagull Centre's come under a lot of stress from too much stuff. There's only a certain market we've got. We haven't got, we're not Auckland. So, but and also the logistics of getting it back to, didn't want to do that. But what we will do once Whitianga is up and running is we'll open a drop-off centre at Purangi. So product that's still usable doesn't get thrown away. We'll just intercept it there and bring it back here to sell.
And potentially look for a drop-off space in Mercury Bay South.
Has it got title?
Yes, yes. I have thought about that. Potentially, yes. Yes.
I mean, I think that would be a really good, if we could find some.
Yeah, just the trip around.
Yeah, exactly.
We would look at that eventually. Yes.
Just need to get the site in mind.
Correct. Yes. I mean, and we're not far away, so in 4 years now, this project.
Patient.
Patience.
Cheers, guys. Thank you for your hard listening.
There any other speakers? No one wants to speak? No.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'd just like to put it to board and council that when they're working on perhaps a tourist plan and what's available in the town, to consider the bike park. The work that has gone on at the bike park recently has created what is, I believe, the greatest potential for walkways and cycleways in the country. And also the addition to having dogs on leads facility, and also with the bikes that are free for use. It's made it a hidden treasure in our town, and just like when you're considering tourist destinations, that the bike park could be one of them. And at the moment, there's a lot of people who don't even know about it. And to get a trip up there right now or any time in the future would be a good thing. But it's just I shouldn't be here sort of pushing these things that I'm so involved with, but I'd like to, because it's a hidden treasure in town.
Yeah, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you now.
Kia ora now.
Anyone else? Okay. Mercury Bay Community Board receives Patty Stewart, Tracy Megan, last name, Manus and Knowles as public speakers in public forum, including any tabled material in correspondence. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll see you.
John and Rika. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carried. Okay. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? No.
Thanks, Manus.
No items on the agenda to actually go on those.
Oh, there's something I wanted to know.
Every day.
Are there any items not on the
Thanks, Megan and Peg. Kia ora.
Are there any items not on the agenda? And no conflicts of interest, so we'll go minutes for confirmation. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll move it.
I'll second it.
Delhi and Peter. Are there any amendments for correctness?
Yes, page 62. The telephone confirmation names, I don't believe that Peter McKenzie has changed his name to surname Grant, so I think it's been.
We've already got one. Peter.
Page 62 is in response. Did you get married in
No, I didn't not.
Excuse me, John, just for clarification, are you talking about the correspondence report, not the minutes?
Oh, am I?
Yeah. Yes, but yes, apologies, noted.
Can you just note it?
Yes. It was fine. I think that's that one, you know. Rick, you have a question?
I just had a question with regards to, so that our last minutes, the community correspondence report. And the board requested further information on the development regarding Roger Mortelman's email and letter.
No.
And I was just wondering, has that been captured or is that just sort of sitting in minutes? Because I don't see it in our work program or an action that's outstanding.
Is that a question about the hotel being a part of
For the hotel.
Yeah, so I just sort of want to know what, before we forget that this person's contacted us, and that there's an action there. I just, page 9.
No, I haven't actioned that, apologies.
So can we, so that will move over to our action schedule, so we just don't lose it and we can close the loop out.
We did reach out before it came to the board. We did reach out to our resource consent team, and they provided some information previously. And Mr. Morgan has received all of that information.
But he came back with a
And
subsequent
then
email.
he still wanted the board to give their opinion on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That sort of final piece hasn't happened as far as I'm aware. And when I look at our action schedule, it's not in there. So I just wanted to highlight it so that we capture it and close that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, all those in favour say aye. Any opposed? None. Okay, motion carries. So we'll move on to 1.7, the external Mercury-based stormwater stakeholders groups minutes for receiving. Can I have a mover and a seconder?
I'll move that.
We've got Delhi
I'll second it.
and Peter. What about anything? All those in favour say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. So the Mercury Bay Community Correspondence Report. Are there any questions that anyone has for staff? Yes, Rika.
I just had one around this letter of support for social services. And does the organisation that they're reaching out to, does that tie in with what PCDC has recently announced around partnering with Age Concern? Or is it similar work or overlapping work, or I hope it's not contradicting? That's my question.
I'm unaware of that. As far as I'm aware, they're just applying to the Age Friendly Fund, and it was not tied into anything that council was doing that I'm aware of. It was purely just that they wanted to apply for that fund and would like a letter of support.
Yeah.
But so I would have to go back and speak to them about that.
I just think that we should understand before we're supporting a letter of funding is the outcome of what that organisation is trying to do and what we're trying to do. Is it the same or is it conflicting? Does that make sense?
For example.
Well, I to be honest, I don't know.
Gary has stood up.
Everyone looks to chair.
Yes, go ahead.
The Age Concern received $60,000 from the Mayoral Disaster Relief Fund via the Emergency Management Unit to work with the elderly around the district on building resilience, which is one of the weak links that we found as a result of the cyclones. So the money has come in from the outside, it's gone through the audit fund, and we have contracted with the organisation as an outside organisation.
Right. So, and they will come around the district and connect with.
District, yes.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. So I guess that just leaves the question in terms of the funds that the social services are looking. Is it to deliver the same thing? And we may be happy to write a letter of support.
My understanding of the application, which you've all read, was that it was to carry on with their day-to-day support of elderly across our communities, not specifically targeted at resilience.
Right. Answers that. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll
So
move.
you'll move for option 1 to write a letter of support.
Yeah.
Oh,
Understanding that. Yeah, absolutely.
What's
Rika
Rika and Bess? The Mercury Bay Community Board receives the Community Correspondence Report dated 5th of September 2024. We received the attached and table documents, and we support the proposal of the letter of support to the Community Services Trust funding application to the Age Friendly Fund. Do we have a mover and a seconder?
Yes.
Before that's voted on, I need to declare my interest as a trustee of the Whitianga Community Services Trust, and so I will not be voting on this point.
Okay, thank you, Peter. Caroline, do you have something to
I was just going to say the correspondence report, is it?
Yes, this is the correspondence.
6th of September, not 5th.
Oh,
Is it? Is it okay? It's
just reading something in front of me. Okay, so 6th of September. Is it?
Thank you for noting that.
Yes.
Well,
Okay, so we had a move into Delhi and a seconder. Yes. All those in favour say aye. Any opposed? No.
Got a
Okay.
question through the chair.
Yes.
I know we've got two busy gentlemen here. Are you guys on a time schedule?
No.
You're okay sitting there? Cool.
Very okay.
Okay.
You're okay.
Okay, so that motion was carried. The right of renewal, the Whitianga Information Centre Charitable Trust. Are there any questions? Clarifications?
one line.
I'm happy to move this.
Shares and you.
Ata Maria board,
Kia ora.
I take the report as being read. I just would like to highlight that in the actual background of the report, the resolved has been put in there twice by accident. So, yeah, apologies for that.
Okay.
In the agenda packet.
Yeah.
So we have a mover of Rika and a seconder. Delhi. Mercury Bay Community Board receives the right of renewal, Whitianga Information Centre Charitable Trust, report dated the 9th of August. Recommends to council and it approves the final right of renewal of 3 years from December 1st, 2024 to 30th of November, 2027 to the Whitianga Information Centre Charitable Trust for the lease of the park premises located at 66 Albert Street, Whitianga. We have a mover and a seconder. Okay.
I think Delhi and I did.
Yeah, it's just written twice. I don't know. All those in favour say aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carried.
Kia ora. Thank you.
Thanks for the call.
Unless that happens, that's the house to bring to, just like. Just to go to see what's the base, that's.
Cool. So 2.3, the proposed road name, right of way. Does anyone have any questions for staff?
I have a question.
Yes, Rita?
When I read this, I see they've both been to iwi, but does iwi have preference?
Morena board, no, there was no preference expressed by iwi. They supported both names.
But they're okay.
So through the chair, as we have an option 1 and an option 2, then do we just go with option one? Quite like to move there. I think it makes sense. It's got a nice provenance to it.
Can you pronounce it for us, please?
Aramata.
Thank you.
Okay.
No, sorry, Aramata. He's
Aramata.
looking at me.
Aramata.
Okay.
Take it away.
Aramata.
The Mercury Bay Community Board receives the proposed road name change right of way. Report dated the 23rd of August, 2024. Yeah, we've written it twice. And we're going with option one. Can I have a mover and a second, please?
I think you moved it, didn't you, Rita?
No, I just had the question around whether iwi had a preference.
Oh, right, sorry.
So before we do that, may I ask another question? So I understand that mata means path or land. So we don't need,
Ara does.
Ara does. So we don't need to have lane or path or drive or anything at the end.
No, that's correct, councillor. First of all, no, that there doesn't need to be an additional road type. Ara is effectively the road type, and that is expressed in the standards and provided for.
You know, can we go there? Have a look at this right away.
There's a map.
Yeah.
Can probably drive by yourself and find it.
Yeah. Is it open? Is it?
Jane, did you hear that question?
Sorry, I beg your pardon, I didn't hear that.
Did we go and have a look at this?
That's an option open to the board. It's not something that is normally done, but certainly that's an option that the board may wish to undertake. That's no problem.
It's just, you know, we see these things, but without actually tramping on the whenua and seeing it, then, yeah, that's all. But guess, yeah, go there myself.
Okay.
Kia ora.
So moving forward with option one, can I have a mover and a seconder, please?
I'll move.
Second.
Delhi and Jess, all those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No, okay, motion carried.
Kia ora.
Thank you. The Emergency Management Unit. Gary. Gary Taylor. Gary Taylor.
Very much kind of three down.
Oh my goodness.
I don't fight. Wednesday could be a voting. Interesting. I was thinking. Where I live, I could come home and this woman with a hell would cost it. So it's honestly, don't say why. Got handbags.
We just think that's before. Yeah.
The time for a toilet. No, we love this meeting, dulcet tones.
Beautiful. Oh, I love
Thank you, Mr.
this. Love it.
Same one you saw 2 weeks ago.
I'm trying to keep it fresh for you. I'm trying to keep it upbeat for you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members. We're here to provide an update on where we are at with the recovery process following the 2023 storms. We're 18 months on and we're coming to the end of the primary work that has gone on in recovery. So it's a handout Stephen has given you, which is going to talk to you now, is with the exception of the recovery of that last and roading work that was so I'll hand over to Stephen first and then we'll go back to the report.
Up to Maria.
Maria.
Look, that's the
there's a bit of an apology to accompany the handout because we did invite NZTA to just come with us on our round of community board visits. But they explained that with the release of the National Land Transport Program last week, I was occupied explaining to other groups what's in there. We're reasonably satisfied with where we're at. We'd always like more. And part of the just coming back to you today was to say we need to keep our advocacy up on the resilience project for the Correspondence. We've had round 1 and we need to be prepared for round 2 and 3, and we should keep going. So just the handout from NZTA, I think, helpful one, just giving you a little bit more accuracy on the 21 million that was approved for roads in the Correspondence area. The state highways, and there's a list there of the indicative dates, and we know that NZTA will work hard at trying to get the balance between stop go and disruption on the network to get this work done between now and next March. Good questions, Chair.
Because I've just been having conversations with Pito and Whitianga about the underslip on Blackjack, and I understand that Mo and Ed popped up a bit of a meeting with those guys today, but it doesn't appear on that list at the moment.
That's because that's state highways only.
Oh, that's right, it is too.
So through your normal the activity reporting that comes through for council meetings, gives you good. You'll see a good list in the next one of what's planned on, particularly on the Colville Road, Kennedy Bay Road, Dixon Road, and the road Blackjack. So there are still about 30 sites on the local roads to go, and a similar number on the state highway. And for both Ed Varley and the roading team and the NZTA team, they are going to be just carrying on until they get to the end, and it will probably be mid 2025. So we're going to go right through to next winter. And if there is one or more events between now and then, it will just create a brand new response that we'll have to integrate with the one that we're already running.
In prioritise things. So can I ask a question about Hoatunu Wall on State Highway 25? Is that the gaming baskets along between Hoatunu East and Hoatunu West?
That's the top of the Kuatunu Hill. When I asked the council, that was the answer. No, where it's coming away when you get sort of towards the top.
Goes to a one-way.
It's an underslip.
Underslip.
Yeah, so wall confuses me because I'm thinking of that as an underslip.
Yeah, so when I asked that question, that was the answer.
Okay.
That it's that top of the hill underslip stuff.
As a comment, it's positive that it's been done before Christmas.
Before Christmas.
Yes, that's great. Because it looks quite gnarly.
Just from memory, I think is it something like 280 million that we have set aside for our roading work between now and the end of.
In the regional land transport plan?
No, we just announced for our.
17.5. 21 million for these roads and the state highway network, and like off the top of my head, the LTP roading program is up
280
over 10 years. Yeah,
10.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
And we have a lower bar rate than we have in previous years, and our storm recovery rate will also be lower. Is that
Right.
correct?
They haven't finished the review yet at all the vibe is
The vibe of it.
it's pointing in the wrong direction.
The bad news vibe.
Yeah, instead it's been their baseline support for emergency relief for a long time. NZTA have put up their hand and said that's not sustainable from their point of view, and you can see that there's likely to be a transfer to ratepayers in that process, but it won't come through until the beginning of next calendar year, and I would suspect it will apply from their new financial year.
Okay.
So would it be safe to assume or say that potentially at annual plan time, we might be looking as a council to what we're raising and how we potentially build up a greater storm recovery pot?
Definitely.
That would be a conversation that would be had at that time.
The CE's already got that noted.
We've already got that flagged,
We
yeah.
must deal with this in our annual plan next year.
I just wanted to share it for the
Oh,
recording so that people would also know that that's it. All right.
So we'll just go through the report. I'll take the probably through, Madam Chair, and just run through the highlights. So as Stephen alluded to, the recovery project has exceeded $170 million, which is quite extensive, but the vast majority of that has been raised from central government agencies and NGOs and philanthropic organisations. Of note, and what has been very successful for the Correspondence has been on the social resilience side. The staff have raised in excess of $1.5 million from donations from all sources to build the resilience process project, which Mercury Bay has benefited, and a lot of the social recovery. And that's by word of explanation. The social recovery side of it has been very, very worthwhile, but it hasn't been highly visible, and it's our staff working on the ground in vulnerable areas, often solving problems before they even come into us. And what we get told is what they've done and what they've achieved. So it has been very worthwhile. And as we spoke about earlier, we had $60,000 available to us through the Renewal Relief Fund just to tidy up some work with the elderly. So overall, we have been on a national scale very, very successful, and we have achieved a significant amount of money to do a whole lot of good work done. That's why we're coming to the end of this recovery process, and hopefully we won't have another one to do some soon. Any questions?
Sorry, I didn't, Stephen, what's your role in this? Sorry, I didn't quite
I'm
understand.
recovery lead for Whitianga's Correspondence District Council.
For the whole,
Yep, just 3 days a week.
okay. Another question, where is the Whitianga container going to be located?
It is it's at the trust, isn't it?
It's in the multi-sport field.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's there already, is it?
I think it's been delivered, yes.
Yes, yes, it is being
filled.
Yeah.
So Dean had to run out the other day, wasn't it?
The receiving.
I can confirm it's in the process of being filled. Yes, we've got trucks coming in almost every day now with supplies that thanks to staff is being loaded in.
Who holds the key?
The key will be held in the office here, I think, and it'll be held. There'll be a number of keys available, but it will be strictly managed. It's not available to the public.
No.
The plane.
Just looking down the report on the summer planning, which heats up, excuse the pun, quite soon. I have a concern around surf life saving, given that WRC has failed to fund to the level indicated by the clubs of what they need. Have you had conversations with them? Is there any leverage or any pressure that we can put on anywhere to remedy that situation?
And through the chair, yes, I've had a number of conversations with them since the decision was made. I think that door was closed in terms of leveraging or whatever. The reason that they did not receive was, I think it's 5%, which is insignificant, but the reason they didn't get a significant increase was that the central government donated or granted significant funding to surf life saving, but it's not to pay for pro guard. So the money we're talking about that WRC provide is to support pro guard.
That's wages, yeah.
The government have paid for a lot of materials and assets and so forth. So they will get through, they will survive, and they will have to receive additional funding from all sorts. But explicitly, what is quite concerning, and that is we're supposed to work on that, is part of their contract is that they're not to have contact with community boards or council. They've been barred as part of their funding arrangement, which I find quite bizarre.
Bizarre.
So we're still working on that.
Sorry, by who?
WRC started
So the WRC give them funds.
on the condition that they do not,
You're not allowed to talk to us.
they do not come to seek funding.
Police.
So it's just insurance. They don't go double dipping and triple dipping. So,
Get that.
but no, I'm in constant contact with them, and we have a very good working relationship with them. They'll be fine. They'll get there. They'll come.
So just to clarify, you're in constant contact with our local surf lifesaving groups or the actual body of?
The regional and national bodies.
Right, okay, thank you. And they could still come and see us and tell us about their summer and how things went,
Oh,
or
yes, yes.
their frustrations in terms of,
The
yeah, okay, then as long as we don't talk about dollars and cents.
elephant in the room.
Thank you.
I see the government, correct me if I'm wrong, have increased the visitors fee to come into New Zealand now, up to $100 or something per person. That's finally
That's from the 1st of October.
this year.
But if you travel overseas, everywhere you go, every city you go to, or every hotel you stay in, you pay a visitor levy. So it's just
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's,
more.
yeah, should be.
Julia, will this be your last appearance here at Mercury Bay Community Board?
Unfortunately, not Billy. No.
Oh, coming back.
When my replacement is confirmed, I'll be bringing him or her around to
Right.
introduce to the board.
So we won't have a tearful hug in a way out.
No.
I will wait till the next one you come around.
That's fine.
We'll do it.
Hopefully in bar.
Get your way ready.
Yeah,
If all goes well, so I could be back at the next meeting. We'll see.
So,
Through the chair, can we still take advantage of a question to you in regard to issues coming up for the summer as well while you're here? Are you okay to?
Yeah, I can answer.
Just in broad terms, what sort of is in your head in regard to what should be being thought of for the upcoming summer in regard to potential risks? I know you always sort of have that focus around the place. So what's top of mind for you at the moment? Are you concerned about storm activity, fires, everything? What's ahead of your list?
So there's two sides. There's the internal, there's the council side of things. So this is our solid waste contractors and our parking reserves. So we work very closely with them, making sure that they've got all the risks are identified. I mean, even little things like getting across the Peppy Bridge, getting those waste trucks across there at the right time so they can do their job and get home. Little things like that we have to deal with and we have to mitigate. And so we go through every single customer-facing department and council, and we work with them on saying what is coming up. Externally, weather-wise, we've had an early indication that summer will start quite early this year. We'll have some quite hot from next month on. We'll have some, so we might get a taste of what the heat levels could be like. And of course, storms and wildfires and everything else are always there. We don't really sleep over it, but we just prepare, make sure that our emergency partners are ready, the local fire brigades are resourced, and we just work around all those risks that we know about. The main thing for us is also to ensure that the infrastructure, such as our water treatment plants and our ability to provide water at peak periods, is going to be sufficient. So,
and the NIWA report isn't due till October, was it October?
So in October, Renewal will give us a good indication of what the summer is going to look like. So they give us a monthly update. So in October, it'll be October, but it'll be the December, January, February. It's the January, February, March that we need to look at. But we can predict it, but we don't know what happens. The word that Neil have used for this coming spring and summer is robust. So we just take that for a while. Robust. And it's, I mean, what we had last night, just the springs and what's happening.
It sounds challenging rather than benign or something.
No, it's not benign. Thing number 10, number question.
I think we're correct.
Thank you. Be good to see a list of the local roads next time we see you like this. Local roads. Thank you. It must exist, it must be in a work progress.
Yeah. The Mercury Bay Community Board receives the Emergency Management Unit update report dated the 16th of August and associated handout documents. I will move it and the second. John
I'll second.
and Peter. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Motion carried.
Look online.
So we have Luke online for the CAPEX report. Are there any questions?
I do.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hi, Luke.
G'day, through the chair. Good morning, everybody. This month, this meeting, we've got a slightly different report for you to view. It isn't as familiar as the one that you probably regularly see. The reason for that is we're at the start of a new LTP, new financial year, and this is a report that shows you what projects have been approved for delivery this year. And what you'll see is a slightly different layout. We've ordered it by project team or the team delivering the work, and that's the dark blue banners. So it's broken down in a slightly different logic sense, and we're hoping to carry that through as a theme when we're back into the normal formatted reports that you will start to receive as of next meeting. You will note that the Purangi wastewater treatment plant upgrade is at the top of that list for my team, the project delivery team. And I just wanted to highlight with that one in particular that one's highly reliant on the wastewater consent being approved, which is a complex piece of work that is we're going through a hearing process at the moment. Other than that, I'll take the report as read and I'm available for questions.
There we go.
Thank you. I missed the RAG status that we had with them, but I'm excited to hear that will be back next time. Also, what's missing on here is we don't have any Whitianga waste transfer station update, and for that project and also the sheriff block, we used to enjoy a one-pager project update. It was really interesting to get some project updates from public forum this morning, which are things that I hadn't heard. So, and timeframes that were new to me. So that's really worrying for me.
And me.
And John.
And me.
And Kelly.
So through the chair, I think I caught most of that. So the thing that is missing out of this is carryovers. So at the time this report was pulled together, the decision on carryovers hadn't gone to council. So this report is missing that element. So there'll be some projects that next month that you would have seen previously will pop back up in the next report to the board.
So we need to wait till next month to get an update on the waste transfer station, or just take the public forum as read and that's the update?
So I wasn't up to date. I wasn't here for the public forum, so I'm unsure what was talked to, but I can review the recording once it's published. The Whitianga, is it the RTS you're referencing there? Sorry, it's a bit echoey.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry.
So the RTS is currently been assigned to Pinnacles as to project manage, with my team taking a lead as well. We're in a process at the moment of working through the schedule with them to ensure that they're on point and delivering what the agreed scope is and within the timeframes. So we'll have an update for you next meeting in regards to what's to be delivered and when for that project.
So is the design currently being peer reviewed, or that's happened?
So the design is getting, it's been looked at, but we're also looking at, re-looking at the design and scope to ensure that we're fitting within the available budget.
Okay. And when do you think you'll go out to tender for the project?
It is dependent on the outcome of that review, because if we've got more work to do in value engineering, then that's going to take a little bit longer.
Okay, thank you.
So just through the chair, for clarification, if you are still looking at budget and design, it means you haven't finalised the design for it to be able to be peer reviewed. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, so the design at the moment is costed above the available budget, so we are looking at value engineering it to make sure we're delivering with what's available.
I thought we'd been through value engineering.
I think we're value engineering.
Value engineering a second time.
So through the chair, so I'm hearing that we'd like a project on page update.
We've never not wanted a project on a page, and I flagged that last week that it's missing.
Yeah, we can discuss that offline, like about reinstating the project on the page, and so that be both for RTS and Sheriff Block.
Yes, yes,
Sheriff Block.
Not over the Sheriff.
Through the chair, it really should be on any CAPEX project that relates to Mercury Bay. We should be able to have an oversight as to where that project is at. Because what this feels like at the moment is we're being reported on what staff want us to look at. And that doesn't feel right from a governance point of view. Feels very uncomfortable, I would have to say, very uncomfortable.
I've got a couple of down in the weeds questions, Luke, that maybe Dean/Heather might be able to support you on that, you know, respecting the fact that you probably at a higher level. Mercury Bay Footpaths has got some renewal money in there, and I've had a couple of complaints about the lip between where the Hoggin path meets the little overbridges and concrete that's eroded away, and it's a bit of a trip hazard. So that's just a point in that very small budget for footpaths. There are some people walking that are finding that the Hoggin used to slope up to the edge of the concrete and up to the edge of those wooden bridges, but now there's quite a lip, and a few people have face planted on that.
Through the chair, Delly, I'll get some information off you afterwards.
Yeah,
and I'll just pop a request for 7.3 for that one. I'm pretty sure that will sit outside this CAPEX.
Yeah, thank you. Just noting that there's some money in there. I haven't finished. What's the progress on the wharf user agreements?
Can you repeat that, please?
The progress on the wharf user agreements.
Wharf user agreements.
Yeah.
I'll need to come back to you on that. I'm not familiar with where the progress is on that one, but I'll provide it after this meeting.
And the other one, which was a little bit not ambiguous, I'm not sure, has the work on the Cox Beach Lakes started? The work that's in this CAPEX report.
Yes, they've investigated, doesn't it?
Is that the Cooks Beach Lakes Bridge renewal or something different? Sorry.
Desludging and all of those other things.
Sorry, I didn't catch it again.
Cooks Beach Lake Management.
And there's desludging as well as a little bridge there. and weed removal. Trying to find the page for you.
Page 85.
85, there you go.
Right. In the other information section.
Yeah. The review of results, blah, 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 harvest rest of Lake A, investigate sediment trap, desludge pond B. There's quite a few actions there. And I'm just wondering whether or not any of that work is started or if there's a time frame.
The last, because I sit on that committee, the last meeting was several weeks ago, and I haven't seen or heard any update. But the last was that they were waiting for the weather to improve around to be able to have dry conditions around so the machinery could get in and out of the place. That was the last that I heard.
Okay. So I appreciate an update on that as well.
Yeah, we can, through the chair, we can give you an email update on that as well.
Cool.
Because it's coming up.
Through the chair, the concerns that I expressed a little time ago, well, two things. One is that I would be very interested in a reaction from the people sitting around the chair, how they feel about this. But this is really deeply concerning me, that we have major projects that are underway that we aren't getting any update on, are excluded from us from this list. And this is very concerning. If that is shared, I'd like to actually move a motion of my disappointment and a request that we have a chief executive review the position and advise us in regard to the updates that the board will receive in future in regard to CAPEX programs at Mercury Bay to ensure that this does not occur again. Is there a second to that motion?
Yep.
I'll say, and to speak to that, I must endorse and support Councillor Grant's view, and I sort of get the feeling that I'm starting to feel a little bit like a mushroom. It keeps them in the dark and get a lot of rubbish. So I have to go along with what Councillor Grant's suggesting.
And we do feel, we've had this conversation before your time, Luke, that we sit here and we approve place names and road names and choose people for community awards, but we actually don't get a lot of real stuff done.
Yeah, and
Is it fair to say?
yeah, absolutely appreciate that you're very new to the role, Luke. But there has been some months that this information that we've been harking on about has not been provided. And I specifically asked a week ago to say that report or the two plans on a page are not here. And I would have thought that they would have been here this morning. So absolutely take it that we're just not happy with the level of information that we're receiving.
Yes, I definitely agree. I've written several emails to Aileen, and we did bring it up in our meeting last week that these weren't in here. So I was very disappointed it wasn't in here either.
Yep, through the chair, thanks for the feedback and information, and I'll take that away and make some improvements.
Appreciate that. Do we need to do anything with this?
Do you want to make a motion?
I have put forward a motion, it should be recorded, and I think we have a second to the motion.
Do all those in favour? Excuse me, do you want to read it out?
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to pick the witness for.
How would you like to record it? Or on screen so everyone can just read it. How would you like to record it? In the words.
If I was a winning person,
Updates on the go, because we can't vote on something that we.
So I think there are two parts to it. The first part is our disappointment that this information was missing, a request to the chief executive to investigate the reasons why the information was not provided and an assurance that it will be provided for future meetings.
Very rapid typing going on.
Disappointment that this information is missing, request to the chief why that information was not provided and will be provided for future meetings in Mercury Bay.
Is that carried?
Yeah.
All of those?
Yeah, so I can read it.
Okay. Or do you want just Chrissy to read it out? And
No,
then get it
no,
moved in?
Up on the screen.
Please. Let me just move all my notes out of it.
Shall we give Jessie some time to put that together, and maybe can someone give us a shark bite update just while she's getting that? I don't want the spotlight.
Thank you.
Maybe get a shark bite update.
Yeah, we can. So through the chair, I've got the latest from Amon and the team. So if you look at page 85, it says that it's anticipated that TCDC's consent will be issued soon and the designer was underway. So those two items have been completed, the consent has been granted. So at the moment, we're just at the procurement stage. So quotes have been obtained. So that's where we are at the moment.
Okay, so how long do we sit in that procurement phase for in terms of quoting, like a month, 2 months? Sorry.
It's a very.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Will we see work start before summer?
So it's been quoted on that basis. What's with a very soon start date, but until the procurement process is completed.
Through the chair, can you outline for us, Dean, your understanding of what has been consented and what we can expect to see done? What will this thing, the shark bite, look like after the work?
Yeah, so just briefly, it'd be better to come from the activity manager, but my understanding is it's the reconsenting of the entire wall, plus the additional protection in the area that is the shark bite. So the bit that's being quoted at the moment is the work on the shark bite, first and foremost, not the work on the remainder of the wall.
So that will continue the wall along to the area where the shark bite is now. So
yes,
is that right? So there'll be an extension of the rock wall?
Yeah, so there'll be an extension to cover the area of the shark bite, which is the bit that's being procured now.
Right.
Through the chair, on my favourite bandwagon, which is comms. I think this has been a very visible project and yet another reason for the community to throw rocks, so reference to rocks, at council about our incompetence, how we can't even, Harold Abrahamson were back to truck in with a load of rocks and the problem would have been fixed. But my point being that I still don't believe the comms to the community have been adequate around, if I'm annoyed, people in the community failed to see how Gabriel was that long ago. I even talked to Warren Maher and he said, is it us holding it up? I mean, certainly it was with WRC for quite a long time, but it just seems like bureaucracy gone nuts. And I would like to unpick the process with a timeline and find out what made it stagger along at a snail pace, that we're only just seeing procurement happening now, which is what, 18, 19 months since the event.
In addition, through the chair, it's getting a bit hard telling people, when they ask, it's the same old thing. It's a progress. And I'm getting hard with that grumpiness.
So are you asking for a governance sort of post-project review to understand why this is?
I don't want someone to do $20,000 worth of work over 6 months, but what I would like is to understand the timeline and where were helicopter view of where the sticky points were, so that this doesn't happen again. It's just embarrassing. It is so embarrassing.
Through the board, what we could arrange is for the activity manager to come to one of your networking sessions and provide that high level overview and have a look at some of the steps along the way.
and this, I'll speak to this in the context of the previous motion that we're still working at the wording on. This is an example of the frustration that we're feeling that, you know, there is too much, I think, being conducted in an informal way where we actually need more diligence around some of this to actually understand and be on the record with it, because we're hearing from the ratepayers of their frustrations in regard to the timeframes that these are taking, and we don't satisfy those requests by dealing with this in an informal way. You know, we actually need to be showing that we're uncomfortable because of the time that it has taken. We're trying to understand why that is the case, and from a governance perspective, is there things that we need to do better from a governance point of view to make sure this process isn't as delayed as it has been. And, you know, that needs to be more in a documented, transparent way than just a discussion at a networking session. Others feel the same.
I don't.
Absolutely.
Which comes back to my original comment about comms, and I've been at this table for 11.5 years, ranting and raving, as Red will know, for about 7.5 of those. That we do not communicate the whys and the wheres and the whatevers in a simple, horrific way if need be. And as Bess rightly says, I talk to you, Bess, we get the ho-has from the community constantly about what an, incompetent bunch of tosspots we all are.
Useless.
Useless, can't even fit a hole in a wall. And there's Gary nodding.
I really just open the
Yeah. Right, we've got some wording.
Sorry, am I off it? Oh,
Thank you.
that's fine. There's like that option, another option. So there's, but we can just play with it as well if it doesn't go.
We just extend number one, and so that the two items there, the RTS and Sheriff's Block, are examples. But the disappointment is,
Yeah. That's why it's appointment from Stakeholder.
Does the word represent that?
As an example, RTS and Sheriff's Blocks, updates are missing, but also basically all the updates.
Notice not receiving all updates.
yes, and a request that information will be provided.
We're doing that in number one.
And for number three, it just so it's clear, that we're asking the Chief Executive to make sure that that information is provided for future meetings for us.
And Luke, just to be clear, we're going to go back to our normal reporting with the RAG status next meeting. Yeah?
Yes, correct. This was a one-off format for the start of the LTP.
Okay, thank you.
And that will include the carryover projects that have been approved to be carried over.
Honestly, this is what's
that will become the answer.
And we'll remove that.
I just want to formalise this.
So I feel like we should definitely remove that.
Yeah, so some of
unfortunately, many occasions now I've been saying these things. And an example of that is my request around RFSs and the update. Because every single council meeting, I've been told we're working on this, it'll be available for you at the next one. And I am now flagging this in a formal sense that these are still not happening. So, yeah.
But it felt particularly uncomfortable to get an update on the RTS this morning. With stuff that was new news. Now, whether that's 100% factually accurate.
How would you know?
We don't know. So that's our latest update on the RTS.
Kia ora board.
Kia ora. Hi, Ari.
Kia ora. KTP here, koutou. I just wanted to, through the chair, if it was okay, I just wanted to just point out with this motion that you have, I am going to suggest that clause 1 be removed and be part of the notes of the minutes.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem to me to be a relevant motion.
It's a comment.
Yeah, I think it would be more appropriate to be a comment which can still be included in the minutes. That was just one thing I just wanted to suggest.
Ari, more than comfortable with that, that's fine.
Great, thank you.
If my seconder is as well. Yeah.
How's everyone happy with the other two wording?
Very.
Or we just use the top one.
Just in case.
Yes, do you want to use the top one or do you want the two individual ones?
Chair must be okay.
I'm happy, you two are happy?
Yep, I'm comfortable.
Thank you.
So just one more suggestion, just in terms of clause 1, a request to the chief executive to investigate the information not being provided. I think that would be a little bit more, it just sounds a bit better than as what we've got there, and I don't think we need to put Aileen's name in there either. We've got the position title.
Yeah, happy with that.
I think it's to be to investigate and report.
And report back.
Yes,
Yeah.
and report.
You need to put back in the report.
And report back.
Yeah. It's not provided. Yeah, that sounds a bit more sense.
Thanks, Ari.
Hold up. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Jess.
And then the request for information will be number 2 doesn't make sense. Number 2 doesn't make sense.
The request for information.
To be provided, maybe.
Yeah.
All projects that are happening within the Mercury. Yeah.
Okay.
Number 1, do we need to know why not?
It's not sure about number 2. We're not supposed to a request.
For all
We're asking
information.
for confirmation that the information
A
will be
request for all
provided
project information to be provided.
regarding all CAPEX projects in Mercury Bay will be included in forthcoming in future community board.
Project. Request for all CAPEX project information to be provided for future meetings in Mercury Bay and all projects that are happening within our role, basically. That's
our page.
our page.
So could you just stop that? Yeah, Mercury Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Children's and bowl. Second.
I'm okay.
Yeah, here we go. John and Peter.
Thanks around.
Okay.
It's usually off.
Yes,
And I'm feeling
Yes, raising shortly.
amazed.
Luke has a comment. No.
Yeah, g'day. Through the chair, just seeking some clarity on the motion here. Is it the project on the page requests are for what I would term as our more complex projects, so high complexity projects, whereas the low complexity regular sort of basic renewals can be handled through the standard report that you usually get each month?
And through the chair, who would decide which was a highly complex one or a normally complex one?
With respect, however, we've only ever had the RAG reports from the big projects. We haven't had them on every single line item in a CAPEX report.
And by big projects, we don't mean monetarily big. Some of them are complex or long. the sheriff block was, we put on, plan on a page to deal with an outgoing board and an incoming, so that it was always that information.
So through the board, you usually receive the work program reports in the format that it is, and then indicate which projects you'd like to break out into a project on the page. And that might be because of complexity, it might be because of topical, it's topical at the time.
So the shark bite, really, we should have said project on a page, and we would just be getting a whole lot more detail, although there was really nothing happening.
But they should all be in the work program.
Run as it is, and allow the chief executive to then seek clarification with some suggestions in regard to that, because I'm not quite sure in my mind where the line gets drawn on what complication there would be in just providing a list of ongoing CAPEX projects. It probably won't have any comment or anything, but it's always good to see that list of what has been worked on. And the focus would be on the major projects, obviously. But I'm, I wouldn't like to make a decision right now and say everything over X, because there could be things under X that we're really interested in. So
is that something that would happen through the chair and the area manager, which the rest of the community board could input into and go, hey, this is coming up, this is something I'd like to see?
Yeah, we could, through the chair, we could certainly look at least the bones of a report with the chair and decide which ones will flag up. Also, what I'm hearing, as well as strengthening some of the updates, strengthening the currency of some of the updates, which isn't always possible with the agenda review periods that we've got. So the
lead-in's quite long, isn't it?
Yeah, the quick speech links, I'm not sure if that meeting you referred to was in time for the report authors to update the commentary that's in that.
I don't think there has been one since the last community board meeting, but that's understandable because it was waiting for the spring weather conditions to allow for things to move. So I sort of understand that, but I still think it should be on the report to show nothing else and still waiting on that to happen. I want to move from the point of someone sitting there making a decision, what we see, for us to see and then decide whether we want to ask any further questions. I think that's sound governance. I don't think what we've got at the moment feels like sound governance, looks like it, smells like it, tastes like it. It ain't good governance. So
yes, understood. There is one other mechanism that has been the subject of governance emails and emails from us in the past. Once you receive your agenda review pack, you can also flag up. So say, for example, if you wanted more detail on the Cook Speech Lakes, Luke could have arranged for Mo to have attended and provided a report on that.
Accept that, Dean, but my answer to that would be that relies upon us knowing about it, and we shouldn't have to have that knowledge. We should be able to see what is going on.
Also, we're not getting an agenda pack with an awful lot of lead-in time either, considering that the reports are written so far ahead.
I flagged that last week, these two reports are so
in the pre-meeting.
Pre-meeting.
But what it was before was that it was CAPEX programs and everything was on here and it would just say sheriff's block and then you could see additional attachment for the bigger layout. So everything was still on here. So it's not like we have to split it. It's just we're asking for additional information on, at the moment, just 2 projects.
Yep.
Luke hadn't seen that before as well.
We've taken it down, but Luke, do you have something?
No, I guess I was just thinking about how we make sure we're meeting the needs of the board and how we align that with the existing work that we're doing. And so when I think about that we've actually got a project methodology which categorizes our projects higher complexity, medium complexity, and low complexity. And the high complexities ones are probably the ones you're asking about. And so we could use that as a starter for 10, and you could indicate whether you want more or less from that. That way we're using our approved approach to delivering our projects.
Yeah. And through the board, I'm more than happy for these ideas now to come back so that, we can finalise, where the level of comfort really is around them. But it just isn't there at the moment. And I reinforce the points with I absolutely appreciate the fact that you've only been in the chair for 5 minutes. So it's not a personal comment. Please do not take it that way. It's just the frustration, I guess, that's been building over a period of time in regard to a number of areas, and this being one of them. So,
well, thank you all for the feedback. It's been really useful for me understanding where that frustration is coming from.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I just have one last question, and I know that the role has been vacant, but it's said that someone's been appointed. We're talking about 2 Monk Street, and a report will be presented to the community board at a future meeting. So this is just an indication of whether that future meeting will be this year or when we might expect that.
Sorry, was that a question for me? You cut out at the first part.
It belongs to property and facilities.
Which one was it?
And there's
2 Monk Street.
who's something pointed.
Yeah.
And we'll get it for use property for the future meeting.
Through the chair.
Steve reported a future meeting.
Yeah, we can follow up with Bob.
Maybe longer. Thank you.
Okay, are there any?
Remember the comments.
Fast.
I'm not going to be right recent.
I think we're even now.
Yes, let's go through to see do we need to carry the motion through?
Yeah, we'll say we're going to call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, to have that.
Okay, so the motion and our board are all in favour, say aye.
That's just for that.
Yeah, we're just,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah,
just
just
finalise this. So any opposed? No, okay, motion carried. Are there any further questions for the CAPEX program?
Yes, just about Monk Street, is it going to be available as a overflow car park for this summer?
I think that we have to wait until the person's appointed to be able to talk to them. I think, to get back.
That's the report that I'm asking for, that I just said.
Through the chair, we're just committed to following up and finding out a time frame on the report.
But then we have.
There's the decision that it's going to be used as a car park.
That was what I'm waiting in an answer for.
We don't have an answer for that.
We've asked for a report to come back to allow us to
look at
options to get it turned into a car, so it's not under the process switch.
After
That's okay. What do we tell them? Okay. Anyways, so the community board receives the CAPEX projects of 2024-25 and the other informational updates on the 29th of August. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Move. We've got John and Delly. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Okay, motion carried. Do we want to stop and have a break, or do we want to just keep going through?
I'm suggesting we stop, stretch our legs.
Stop, please.
So we'll stop for 2 minutes then?
Oh, we'll still do that PX. Yeah.
So we'll come back at 11:10.
We've got a quorum?
We've got quorum apparently. Okay, so we will move on to the action schedule. Does anyone have any questions for staff?
Nothing highlighted for me.
Peter, you're here? Yeah, okay.
Happy to move.
And do we have a seconder? Okay, we've got Ellie. All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Okay, motion carried.
We're missing a councillor.
Happy to move into BX.
Yeah, can we do that without the other councillor?
You've still got a forum at the table, so you should. Okay, do we have
Just
a,
kept a minute that he's not.
And Caroline's not.
Yes.
do we have a seconder to move into public excluded?
Did we get the verbal update, emergency thing?
Oh, sorry.
No update.
There's no chairperson report.
Oh.
So can we have a seconder to get into public excluded? I did that. Delhi, all those in favour say aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carried. We will stop the recording.